Reed, what up, bro? You going to work your team? I'll let you. Shout out to the Lost Boys. Y'all stay intact, all right? Peace right here in the building.
REED-BBS. BBS. Let's get into the day of reckoning, post-fight talk, the aftermath, starting with Anthony Joshua. Do we call it a comeback? LL Cool J said, don't call it a comeback. But do we, should we, in Joshua's case? He improved his record to 27 wins, 3 losses, 24 KOs, with a 5th-round stoppage of Otto Wallin. And there was an aggressive glove touch from Joshua, center ring during the referee's final instructions. And that aggressive glove touch, it matched the press conference and the weigh-in energy from Joshua, as well as going back to the fight prior, his fight week energy with Robert Helenius. More agitated, more combative seeming Joshua, and I liked it. As for the fight, his left jab, Joshua's left jab wasn't just a fencing tool or a means of keeping opponents at bay like it has been lately. In this case, the case of Wallin, it was a weapon, a lethal, painful weapon. He damaged Wallin's nose in the very first round. He was stabbing him to the body with the jab as well. And he had Wallin's nose dripping blood after just 2 rounds. 2 rounds. Joshua was a tad lighter on his feet. Dare I say it, fluid? Now, not Tyson Fury fluidity, but improved for a weightlifter. Joshua had improved fluidity. But yeah, his aggression, his attitude, and I'm going to chalk that up to Ben Davison with his Chris Jericho looking ass. Chris Jericho looking motherfucker. But yeah, Joshua couldn't have been more complimentary of Davison in his post-fight presser, which tells me there hasn't been any official word on Joshua and Derek James's partnership, but the way Joshua was speaking of Davison, I'm thinking D. James is probably no longer going to be a part of Joshua's camp at all. On paper, and based on recent performances, Joshua versus Wallin had the highest upset potential. But on this night, Joshua was not having it. He broke Wallin's nose and made him retire on his stool in the 5th round in easily his best performance since the first Ruiz fight. For the first time since round 3 of that fight against Bad Build Andy, Joshua's aggression and his attitude, it matched for once his Marvel comic book physique. Bomb Squad! Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker. It was a wide unanimous decision for Parker. Scores were 120, 108, 118, 111, 18, 110. And honestly, it wasn't that close. Wasn't even that close. This was worse than either of Wilder's KO losses to Fury. To me, they were. Much worse, in fact. Joseph Parker, solid fighter, nothing spectacular about him ever in any regard. He was tactically aggressive with Wilder. He kept Wilder on his back foot with jabs to the body, well-timed 2-hand flurries, and long looping right hands as Wilder was trying to pull back. Wilder looked like he wanted to show off some new tricks he learned, yet he was fucking clueless on how, when, and why to apply these new tricks that he learned. It's like motherfuckers be shoulder rolling, don't know why they shoulder roll. Wilder was sticking and moving, or attempting to, on those skinny, pipe cleaner ass legs, knowing full and goddamn well his commitment to road work is suspect as fuck. And suspect road work commitment that leads to weak, skinny ass legs, which led to awkward, clumsy ass feet work from Deontay Wilder. And I ain't even speak on his punching technique yet. Oh my God. Imagine a drunk man. Imagine a swarm of flies. A swarm of flies attacking a drunk motherfucker. Imagine how that drunk motherfucker is swatting at these flies. That's how Deontay Wilder's punching technique looked in this fight. It was, good God, it was awful. And I'm not really one of those. I'm more about the product of your technique more so than how it looks. What are you doing? But goddamn it, when he's not landing them knockout shots, that technique, like, Jesus, Lord Jesus, it's a fire. It looked like he was trying to put out a fucking fire. Wilder said afterwards his timing was off, but he still felt like he had the upper hand, which is the actual problem. Delusional Deontay Wilder. Raising your hands after the final bell, and as the cards were being read, accusing your trainer, Mark Breland, of spiking your water, the heavy ring walk suit, glove gate, the so-called proof that your ass you still haven't revealed the so-called proof you have. Oh, we knows the secrets, boss. We knows the secrets. We know the truth. You ain't revealed shit, so quit talking about it. Fancying himself as a cross between Chadwick Boseman, T'Challa from Black Panther, and Muhammad Ali, and you goddamn Wilderettes. Y'all ego stroking his ass in that regard. Like he's really your fucking king or some shit. Anyway, it all caught up with Wilder versus Joseph Parker. When you surround yourself with yes men, when people kissing your ass and bowing to you like some regal figure when you're not, survey says. And moving on to Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois versus Chunky Gerald Miller. Two of my absolute favorite boxing names to say. And sadly, one of them had to take an L. Ended up being Chunky Gerald. To the surprise of everyone, Dubois. Dubois actually showed some fight. He showed a degree of grit. He showed a modicum of moxie. The quitter label still hasn't washed off. Oh no. That quitter label is still there. But Dubois, he at least put a bar of soap and a rag on the label to try and begin the wash-off process. So points for that. 10th round stoppage of a mostly fatigued, bloated Chunky Gerald who looked over to the ref right before the fight was stopped and he wasn't throwing back. What next? We'll go in the inverse order of how we just presented it to you. For Chunky Gerald, this was as close to a winnable 50-50 fight as he'll ever see again on this stage. He'll make for press conference comedy, a push here and a shove there, but no PDs, no W's for Chunky Gerald Miller. Go ahead and feed him to Jared Big Baby Anderson or Zhali Zhang, Andy Ruiz, whoever you want to. That's Chunky Gerald Miller's fate, if that. But Daniel Dubois, for Mr. Dubois. Frank Warren, understandably, wants him back into the title mix immediately. But how about a rematch? How about a rematch with Slow Joe Joyce first? Just to check that heart one more time before we throw you back in with the big boys. Dubois, he's always been talented, but I'm still not convinced. Far from it, in fact. Parker, he was fairly impressive again, tactically aggressive. He knew what to do against Wilder. He had Andy Lee, who has the familiarity with Tyson Fury. So that shit ended up paying dividends. But don't get it twisted. Joseph Parker is not special. It's just that Deontay Wilder is patently not special. If I'm Parker, I'm holding out for a Wilder rematch. That's the biggest money fight for him. And any other fight, like Joseph Parker could easily lose his next fight, regardless who it's against. Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Once again, they had signed a contract to fight after the card, after the Day of Reckoning, I believe in March. And once again, plans have been foiled. I'll do a deep dig video on Wilder Joshua and what could have, should have been as well as an overall state of the current heavyweight division video. For Wilder, it's too late to learn anything useful. It truly is. A trainer that Wilder himself hasn't KO'd in the first motherfucking round, that might help, but Wilder's ego obviously requires yes men. He can't function without him. And now he's no longer functioning with them. Motherfucker had 2 minutes and 57 seconds of ring time in the last 26 months. For Wilder, luckily for him, Joshua is still entertaining the notion of them fighting, just for the money that it would bring. But Wilder, it's really that simple. If he can't hit you, if he can't connect with that right hand, you're going to beat him because he offers nothing else whatsoever in the form of a threat. Nothing. Right hand, that's it. Rinse, repeat. And as for Joshua, Anthony Joshua, he's talking about Philip Ergovich. He could fight for a vacant title. Apparently, one of the sanctioning bodies will not be patient with Fury and Alexander Usyk as they, at least on paper, are fighting for the undisputed title. But already there's talks of Philip Ergovich being a mandatory for whichever sanctioning body is looking to vacate. So that could be Joshua's next move. He wants to be a 3-time world champion. There's a direct link there with Ergovich, who had a first-round knockout, if I'm not mistaken, I should say. If I'm not mistaken, on the Day of Reckoning card. First-round KO. It's a dangerous fight for Joshua. I would probably now, at seeing how Wilder looked, just basically on the Day of Reckoning performances, now the pendulum has swung back towards Joshua's favor. But I'll lace you up with more info on all of the fighters above. These are just my post-fight thoughts from the Day of Reckoning in terms of the main fights. I may do one on the undercard bouts as well. We'll see. REED-BBS. Blackbird Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Television! Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say